Montreal Canadiens 25-year franchise. Quick recap, we have won 2 cups, bringing the Canadiens' grand total to 26. We were in search of the 27th. When I first started this, I was hoping to hit 30. It doesn't look like I'm going to do that unless I win. Actually, the best I can do now is 23, 24. I can get us to 29 cups if I win the next 3. We're coming off a year where we lost out, won the President's Trophy, and turned around and got swept out of the first round by the Detroit Red Wings. The Cup last year was won by Columbus, who ended the St. Louis Blues' 2-year winning streak. Montreal won the Presidents. Clarence Campbell went to Nashville. And the Blue Jackets winning the Eastern Conference Player Awards from last year. Art Ross going to Chris Lee. The Hart Memorial going to Chris Lee. Morozov winning the James Norris. Hartman with the Bing. Callahan with the Calder. Conn Smythe the Trafford. McNabb winning the Vezina and Jennings. Franzen with the Masterson. Manning once again winning the Selk. Lindsay going to Lee. And Paul John Lull with the Maurice Richard, just beating a Lee by 1 goal on that award. So we had a dominant year. In the off season, we made a trade to get rid of our goaltender. I think he went to Edmonton, who had the first pick overall in the draft. No, who did he go to? I'll find him. Lucas McDermott went to the Florida Panthers by the first pick last year. He had 42 wins, 12 losses, a 206 goals against average. The reason he was moved out is, other than the 1 year, he has not done anything much in the playoffs. Last year, getting swept out with a 911 save percentage and 304 goals against average was enough for the team to say we're going in a different direction. You get to Montreal. And this year we are going with Funk and LeCavalier. Jean LeCavalier has been our AHL goaltender. He's got 33 wins in the last 2 years. He got 22 wins the year before, 29 the year before that. He's had decent save percentage other than his 1 game in the NHL. And he hasn't been that great in the AHL playoffs, which is okay, but he's improved every year, thankfully. So we are looking to have him and Fox splitting duties this year. We'll see which player ends up with more playing time. Roger Funk has been up and down if you go through all of his stats, even dating back to here where he played backup, then he went down to the A, split time with the NHL. That was when we acquired him. And he's played 3 playoff games, all losses. He's improved his save percentage in each year. He did take us to the Calder Cup finals the 1 year when I didn't know he was down in the A after a trade for a goaltender to try to spark the team. So I am hoping that these two goaltenders can keep ours down low enough where we can pick up some upsets, but high enough that we actually make it into the playoffs. Our team has been dominant. Corey Lee, Kip Manning, and Barry were three of the top four point getters in the league last year. Only point separated them between taking the top three spots. So hopefully that momentum continues. Let's get through the month of October. Yes, I know waivers are active as of such and such a date. Shootout win, 3-2 loss, 3-1 win, 4-1 win. Let's see what he is. He's an 84. 31 years of age, last year's contract. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of offers for goaltenders because that is literally the weakest spot on the team. So far goaltending not hurting us too much, as we're 8-3-2 to start the year. Leading the team in points after the first month is Corey Lee with 15 points in 13 games. We are sitting top of our division right now, and trailing the Canucks for the President's Trophy. Let's get to the next month. Pick up a loss. Went out the month with a 2-game losing streak. Rebound with a 2-game winning streak. Let's see if we can stretch it out. And we do. Overtime loss. A win. Shootout win. Overtime loss. Overtime loss. And a win. So we've fallen to 14, 6, and 5 now on the year. Corey Lee still leading the team in points. He's a little slowed down a little bit in goals this season. We're sitting second in the division. People are probably turning into him. Manning. Barry with 14 goals on the top line. So Barry this year is being the finisher for that lineup. Perry, Lorenz, and Rafi, Stevenson. So yeah. Let's see how the goaltending is playing out after the first 2 months. Funk getting most of the playing time. He's 11, 4, and 5. 931 save percentage, 197 goals against average. LeCavalier, 6, 3, 2, and 1. 913 with a 261 goals against average. So Funk taking a little bit more playing time than I figured he would, but that's not too bad. We're pretty much riding the hot hand, which is okay. Let's get through the month of December. and see if we make any moves come January 1st. Welcome for tuning in. We're in year 23. This is the third to last year. See how things work out. This year, if you haven't watched last year, we are taking a different approach to the team as we are looking to go offensive, more offensive related than defensive this year. As we trade away at our number one, and we're going with two pretty much qualified backups who should be splitting the year. I'll take a look at the stats after the first 3 months. As we're sitting with a 22-8-7 record in year 2040 now. We are tied with Detroit for top of the division with 2 games in hand. Corey Lee leading the team with 37 points in 37 games. Kip Manning and Barry top line is combined for 41 goals this year. Then there's a huge drop off in production after that. Lorenz only has 7 goals in his first 37 games with the team. And he was signed to a big contract in the off season, so hopefully he picks it up. Let's look at goalies. Funk's still getting the majority of playing time. He played in all but 1 game that last month. LeCavalier did pick up the win in the game that he played, lowering his goals against. Funk's goals against has gone up to 2 per game. Plays 18, 6, and 7. With 2 shutouts, a 931 save percentage and a 923 save percentage for Jean LeCavalier. Funk has got 2 years left on his current deal, and LeCavalier has got 8 years left on his. So they are going to be the goaltenders that I'm going with, unless one of them drastically falls off. I'm not going to make any trades yet. Let's get to the end of January, and we'll reevaluate the team at that point. Two overtime wins, a loss to Detroit. Win, shootout, loss. Shutout win, 5-2 victory. It's usually the All-Star break. Yeah. Another win. Win. Loss. Win. I'm just tired of it because I'm going to be using picks to strengthen this team to try to get at least one more cup. So 2 wins there, loss, 1, 2, and a loss, then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game winning streak, another loss. It's the 4th loss of the month. Losing 5 more that month for 31, 11, and 8. How are we doing in the standings? We are still sitting tied for first in the division, which should be Detroit because they have more wins than us, but that's okay. Corey Lee leading team with 51 points in 50 games. Corey Lee, Kip Manning, and Nelson Nicholas Berry, Bradley Perry, Lawrence, and Pavelski, Lavin, Thorne, Blund, Lindsay, and Arvidsson getting some playing time. Our defense hasn't missed a game yet. They're all pretty even except for Jeremy Tucker, who's in his second year now, or third. He's in his third year, falling off a little bit from last year's production so far. And his plus minus is hurting. So we'll see how that goes. Goaltending after 4 months now. Back up, LeCavalier 6-2-2, 238. Funk lowered his goals against with that 25-9-7. 934 save percentage, 193 goals against average. He's got 3 shutouts on the year. And let's get to the deadline and see if we do decide to make any last minute trades. Oh, trades on a leap year. It's a 6-game point streak. Taking the loss to Carolina there. Followed up with a win. Get shut out. That's twice we've been shut out this month. 3 times in a row we've been shut out. So let's try to spark the offense a little bit. And we have a couple guys who are under expiring contracts. So let's try to move them. Oh, we're first in the division right now. Nice. Yes, $5 million extension. Almost 4.5. So these 4 guys, Thorne, Tucker, Lavin, and Raffle, are going to get traded at the deadline. Maybe with another player just to free up cap space as well. Pavelski, how you doing as a rookie? 7 goals, 16 assists. Sada, Sakola, you're okay. Washington's interested in Raffle. Fuji, and he's a medium elite, 19-year-old. I can't call him up this year. shouldn't be over the cap. How much? 2.5. And 1.5, so yeah, to absorb a little bit of contract. It's 35 won't sign them. Two, 24. Charge is a little too good. And now that should have freed up enough space that we can re-sign Tucker. Roster moves. So we do disrupt the chemistry of the team just a little bit. Danny McAvoy playing on the third line with Omark and Waltz. And our third pairing defenseman got a little bit weaker because we traded our top defenseman, which I'm okay with. Let's get through the month of March and see how we do. And Tucker accepts his 4-year extension. We have exactly 90 points right now. 100 points should get us into the playoffs. That's 92, 93. $95. $97, $99, $101, $102, $104, $106, 106 points if I did my math correctly. $108, so I was off by 2. So we have 108 points. We do have a shot at the Presidents, which I hope we don't win again. We are 5 points back. We have 4 games left. There's a possibility of winning it. Lee with 30 goals and 51 assists to lead the team. Manning and Barry up there with them. Perry up there. McAvoy, Olsen. Tucker with 7 points. Devin Freeze. So we did pick up a 5-year-old defenseman. Just give the defense corps a little bit of experience. Let's get through the end of the year and into the postseason and see if the before we start the postseason, we'll take a look at goaltending stats to see how the split came down. $110, $112, 115 points, 50, 19, and 13 on the year. Laval went 51, 26, and 5. Wow. Lee with 85 points to lead the team. How did he do in the NHL race this year? Finishes behind Jacob Jonas by 2 points. Not bad. Let's take a look at our goalies. Whoa. Funk second with wins, but a 203 average. Not bad. So Funk made a run for the Vezina. Looks like he came up a little short. Montreal. So Funk 41, 17, and 10. The Cavalier 9, 2, and 4. 931, 934, 203, 205. So that's what I want to see from these guys. So teams should be comfortable with anyone in net for the playoffs. Regular season has ended. NHL season has ended. Both the NHL and NHL franchise are in. We play Washington in the first round. Let's see how we do. And Washington, of course, takes the 5-1 victory in the game. Lots, Lawrence, 3 goals by them. Fifth in the front. And they get all 3 stars. I hope it's not another one and done. This team should show up in the playoffs. And they shut us out. They're now up 2-0. We're out in 4. Adams with the pair and Nas with the pair. What the fuck is wrong with this team? They cannot score come the playoffs. 2 years left to win 1 more cup. I don't want to be a 25-year frugality of only 2 cups in 25 years. And we at least forced a game 5, so we're not swept out of the first round. Lawrence, Stevenson, McElroy. Like, I haven't seen a goal from our top line all series, and they take 2 to 3 stars. Yet we get a 3-1 victory. Let's see, so let's force a game 6. Nope. 2-1 loss. So we go in 5. So another first round exit. I don't know what's wrong with this team. At least Laval has moved on. Laval's making a run of it. I don't know what you're looking at. So Laval is out in the conference finals once again. Pittsburgh and Grand Rapids with the Stanley Cup and Calder Cup this year. Pittsburgh over Detroit with the Cup. Yay. Minimum cap is 120 million. 139. Yeah. Man Dugill retires. I knew he would. Dmitry Borowski, Lume, Canadian Pound. Henry Lynch, Leclerc, along with Earl Foote, Spencer. Man. And no one really big retiring. Okay. A trading block. Surplus is PEX. Franchise left winger. He's got some good numbers. We're going to try to trade up for him. Okay. So I made a decision. I'm going after a goaltender in the draft. Not what I wanted. High elite? Wow. Sixth round. So Duprios, Leighton or Thorburn was a 70 as well. I got a couple holes now to fill. chart breakdown. $30 million, $37 million for next year. Also, last year my retained salary, which is good. Anyone who doesn't sign after that will just go. Send him to free agency. So everyone who I went after re-signed, everyone who I didn't, I released. Don't think I missed anyone. Right up there, yeah. I would need to make a trade. What do I have? That just freed up. So we put 15 towards him. McDermott, we might bring, actually, oh shit, McDermott. Yeah, I'll bring him back just to trade him. Didn't realize who it was. And advanced day. Advanced day. Advanced day. And Murphy accepts his offer. Bookable rejected. And McDermott comes back. I have $6 million in cap space left. I want one or the other. And Kuiper accepts. And Pepin. Alright. So let's send to next season. Our second last year. What time it is? 12:45. Okay. I'm just going to quickly go use the bathroom. I'll be right back. I am back. Let's take a look at the lines. See if they worked out the way I wanted. So we got Nick Murphy, Kip Manning, and Corey Lee. Rob Rollins, Fuji, Sean Stevenson, Bessa. Wow, okay. Offense. Let's go to roster moves. Okay, we'll have 3 centers dressed. Okay. Seven, 28. And finish. Six, 7, 8. Oh wait, 8 defensemen. Okay, I can move a defenseman out for a center or a left or right winger. Nice. Okay, so we did make that trade. Let's go back into roster moves now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centers. Center could be a little stronger, but that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the system. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Should have 7 defensemen. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Good. Guys are on expiring contracts I want to resign. Okay, so we got one guy looking to resign. The prey accepts his offer. Can draft forwards, look at forwards all year, wherever it says that I should be looking. And of course, they couldn't just give us a perfect preseason. Let's go to October 1st. Let's get some sound happening here. Subscriptions. Let's look at our thing. I suppose are pretty strong here for rookies. Fourth and fifth, decline. Come back with the third and I'll consider it. Pittsburgh. So an 8-4 month of October. Noah Murphy leading the team with 15 points. Great off-season acquisition. Kip Manning, Charlie Lee also up there with double-digit points. There's the defense. Terry Fukufuji with only 3 goals, 4 assists. Both goalies with 4 wins on the year. Dermott is splitting the time, which is good. 8-4. Let's get to the next month. See how the teams stack it up. Second in the division right now. Overtime win, overtime loss. Seven. Let's see if we can make it to 15 wins. Nope. Can we make it to 14 wins? End of October. Yeah, 14, 8, and 2. Up to January 1st. Watching a video that my friend and I made. Well, he actually edited. I just am filming of our cruise in January. It's on Tim L. Fan 1977 site or channel. It's called Chris and Andy's Excellent Caribbean Adventure. Okay, we are at January 1st, the 3-month mark on the season. Corey Lee has moved into first place on the team with 35 points. Murphy and Manning each with 31. Zuboff and Sawyer, top two defensemen, with almost 20 points each. The rookie has jumped up to 16 points. Pavelski with 14. McElroy, Brulin, Goalies. McDermott as 12, 9, and 4, 933 save percentage, 2 goals against average. And the Cavaliers 8 and 4 with a 929 average. Montreal Canadiens. Let's get to the end of January. As we sit third in our division. Just the overtime victories. We have 2 games in hand, so that's good. It's a really tight division so far this year. To February 1st. At the deadline, we'll probably just move out like I do every year, just the guys who are under. I move out one player who's not performing to my standards. Decline. I don't want. Okay. Except this guy I haven't signed. Fuck it. So we're 30, 14, and 5 now on the year. As we are sitting top of the division right now. Lee with 44 points and 49 games. Okay, so all our right wingers are locked in long term. Left wingers, I should say. Depre has signed an extension. See if any of those guys move out at the deadline, which is on the 27th, which is after our last game of the month. So see if we get any trade offers on the two guys we have up. Shootout win against Philly. We needed that win. Yay! Lost to Boston. We didn't need that. Lost to the Islanders. Didn't need that. So we haven't got any offers on the two guys we have out there. Beat our division.
And it was upgraded to a direct flight to Fort Lauderdale rather than a connecting flight in Charlotte. So we were going to be there like 4 hours before we were supposed to be there. We were leaving an hour before we were supposed to leave. And they're checking our luggage for free. So I guess the weather is so bad as far as the Charlotte flight or whatever, they decided to upgrade us to direct to Lauderdale. The flight's sold out. So it's going to be packed, cramped, I guess, but all's well that ends well. It's great. So we're going to be in Lauderdale by about 8:30. Probably in the hotel by 9. Probably need to sleep by 9:01. But all's well that ends well. It's all good. I was worried because I wasn't sure we were going to make the connecting flight because of the delays. It would have been kind of really close. One more delay would have definitely had us spending the night in Charlotte without a doubt. So, all good. Well, it wasn't even recording. Take 2. He was a blind guy, didn't even record. I'm trying to describe what we're doing here. Yeah. Keep laughing at Buddha. I'll start calling you Uncle Fester. Diddle it in. Anyway, as I was trying to say before, we were about 15 to 20 minutes away from getting on the plane. This one's even running a little behind. They let the people off and into the security check, and we'll be on board soon. We're not sitting together, which is a blessing in my opinion. But he's in agreement. So, anyway, next time you're going to see us, we'll be in Fort Lauderdale, and not much warmer climate. All that good stuff. So, see you soon. Well, we finally made it to Fort Lauderdale after sitting on that damn plane for 4 hours. Holy crap. For my first flying experience, I really was not impressed. That was the longest 4 hours of my life. I can't hear. Bad enough I'm blind, now I'm fucking deaf. I guess now it's a case for me to see no evil, hear no evil. Now, people can fly a regular bit. I'll fucking grab the desk. Not a fan. The whole waiting to get on the plane. Then thinking they were going to leave the fucking tarmac. Then thinking that the plane was ever going to get off the damn tarmac. Took an hour in itself. The room at the Days Inn. We're about to find out what a 2-star hotel looks like. And running on fumes, folks. It's been one hell of a long day. Well, here we are. Oh, this smells musty.
It's a Coach Best roster.
I am so overdressed. Fucking hot. I'm hot. Fucking great. Hot, we kind of, you're fucking black. Here we be.
Okay, so we moved out a couple of guys at the deadline just to, because I wasn't going to be able to re-sign them, bring in some stuff back. Okay, let's take a look at the other lines as we get ready for the final playoff push. Murphy, Manning, Lee, Rollins, Kowalski, and Kanawa, Bliss, let's say Walls. Yeah, it's fine.
Stars, folks. Be more comfortable. Okay, we need more light here.
Well, see how we look going into April, folks. 3 straight losses. 4 straight losses. Finally a win. Back-to-back wins.
There we go.
Another win. Loss. 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 Loss.
That is my symbol.
Loss.
Oh my god! I'm cutting that, you know. Oh, Facebook will ding me for walrus porn. That's fucking hilarious. Oh god.
So 48, 23, and 7. We should be in the playoffs.
Hat hair here. Hat hair here. Oh my god. Crazy.
We clinched. We're top of our division. We're top of the East right now. Lee with 70 points.
Direct flight was actually 2 hours late. They went 2 international flights to unload first. And as I said in the Lauderdale airport, I am not thrilled with airplanes. I don't care much for air travel. Not for me. But it was an experience. I don't regret it. I don't get how people do it all the time, man. But no, as soon as we got out of the airport, the humidity just hit us. Like, holy crap, I did not realize. Well, I knew it was going to be warm, but you just don't expect it. Especially, you know, you leave Guelph, you leave Canada, and you get pretty snowstorms and all kinds of shit going on. But we are here, and good stuff.
Win.
And tomorrow's another day.
Win.
So, yeah, weather is here.
Loss. Win.
Oh fuck, sir. The weather is beautiful. Wish you were here. I gotta beat the gun with something, man. I'm running on fumes today. Sorry about that. All good. All good.
Corey Lee hitting 40 goals.
Oh fuck up. Then we're gonna start fresh day 2. Get up, shower, shave, all that fun stuff. If we wake up, yeah. Might be comatose until the cruise.
And we play Detroit in the first round.
Number 2. Right? Cheers. It's gonna wrap up my videos today, but this needs to be said. We got a late night dinner here from a place here in Lauderdale called Sarvino's.
Take the first game 2-1.
Okay. Got calzones.
Murphy,
Meatball.
Rollins,
Literally the best
Barbara.
calzone I've ever had in my entire life. Amazing. Freaking amazing. Oh my god. Chris got an Alfredo one.
Murphy, Rollins, Manning with the 3 stars.
What's that? Yeah. Best, better than anything. Well? Yeah, well, son. As far as Panzerati go, anyway. But seriously, man, if you ever in Fort Lauderdale, you have to try these friggin' calzones. I call them Panzeratis, but potato. But friggin' amazing. I'm in love with them. Good stuff. But anyway, I'm signing off for today.
And an overtime victory ties up the series. No goals in the first. Saunders opens the scoring second. We tied up in the third, and they get the overtime winner. So it's a 3-goal series in total. We've given up 2, they've given up 3. It's a 1-1 series. Let's go to Detroit and Little Caesars Arena and see how we stack up. And Detroit takes a 2-1 series lead with a 2-1 victory. Lowry and Cook, Manning, like, where's our offense? 40 goal scorer can't score in the playoffs? That's bullshit.
They have an IMAX theater there that you use Star Wars. Like I saw it a few weeks ago. It ran very well. But I've never been to an IMAX theater, and I think it'd be a really cool experience. We got this set up. I want to do that. And I think maybe Denny's for supper because I am dying for a IMAX theater. So it's not that it's been a good day.
Finally, our offense shows up for a 5-2 victory.
Check out of here.
Fuka,
Real adventure.
the rookie, with a goal in the first. Rollins makes it 2-1. Lowry makes it, or 2-0. Lowry makes it 2-1.
Everything's chill.
Perez Hogan makes it 2-2. And in the third period, Fuka Fuji with 3 goals, a hat trick, 4 goals in the game. And we have tied up the series. Fuka Fuji should be the first star with 5 points in the game. Neil Pavelski with the third, and Lucas McDermott with the second star.
I can't get over that calzone I had last night, man. Holy crow. I want another one of those. And here's the bathroom. Very small. Very, very small. I thought my bathroom in my apartment was small, but this is actually much smaller. The shower's nice. Really nice shower. I showered it. Oh, good. In the hood, you know. Alright, this is just outside my hotel room. And, yeah, this is Fort Lauderdale. Broward Boulevard, I believe this is. This is just gorgeous. This weather is
And we get a 3-2 victory in Game 5. They go up
amazing.
1-0. Bits with a goal. Lantern ties it up. Fuka Fuji gets his 5th goal of the series. 5th in 2 games. Manning makes it 3-1. And they get a late goal from Armstrong to make it 3-2.
Never thought I'd be able to enjoy this kind of weather in the middle of January. I swear to God.
Manning, McDermott, and Terry Fuka Fuji.
We'll finally decide to wake up. They almost 2:30 in the morning or afternoon. Never mind. Good morning, your time, everyone. Yeah, you didn't notice this break in Florida at 2:30 a.m., did you? We can finally start our day. I'm going to Nancy. Watching a Roseanne marathon from 9 o'clock on. That's alright. I could have gone back to bed, but I didn't. I'm running on 4 hours sleep. It's ugly. Then we're going to head to Sawgrass.
And Detroit forces Game 7 with a 2-1 victory in Detroit.
See what trouble we can make.
Letton just opens the scoring. Waltz ties it up. Marchment gets the game winner in the third. 3 stars are Mark Blanc, Colton Marchand, and Lucas McDermott. We are going to Game 7 in the opening round.
There he goes.
I did not disconnect my app. What the hell, man? My iPod just shut off.
I had to sleep. Yeah. Still no shape, eh? Yeah. That's funny, you were up before me. I stay awake. You go back to bed for the day.
And Detroit shuts us out in Game 7. Fuck off. No goals in the first, none in the second. Saunders with 2 in the third, and we are done in the first round.
I gotta say, I think I like American Pepsi better than Canadian. Got a sweeter taste to it, like. Well, I don't know if there's a difference. I know in Canada they use like high fructose corn syrup. Maybe here they use actual sugar. I don't know. I know back in the day they used actual
Kev, why my iPad shut off? Battery died. So we have one last chance to win the Stanley Cup. We're gonna load up the team as best we can. Let's see how we hold up. Pittsburgh and Stockton with the Stanley called respectively. Kind of darken the screen. Let that charge. No picks. I recognize. Henrik Gunderson.
Well, we spent the last few hours wandering around this gargantuan hall, which I would say is usually 20 times the size of the Stone Road Mall in Guelph. Wouldn't you say? Pretty huge. So we decided to do supper. Chris decided to go the simple route, get Whopper, Burger King. And I thought, screw it, since we're not going to Denny's, I got myself a rack of ribs. Why not? You only live once. So I got rib and fries and a Pepsi. So we're going to do this. We're going to check out the movie theater if we can find it. We've been walking around for like 3 hours and still haven't found the movie theater. Because we want to check out Star Wars on IMAX, which I think would be totally epic. But yeah, this is the food court.
Love the top line.
That's Tony Roma. That's where I got the...
Love the second line.
You got your BK, you got the Subway. Philly steak. Potato... what's that? Potatopia, that's it. Yeah. And you got too far down for me to see. This so you got Asian chow. Villa. I have Chipotle over here. Okay, just a big screen back there. Yeah. This is a very, very cool mall. I like this place. It's neat.
want to get a trade. I'm not going to make any deals. I actually see if I can strengthen the team in the off season.
Possibly to make it on time. And I won't be recording in there because that's called bootleg, and then I can skip that. So I think I'd be known for wide lids for IMAX. We're now outside the mall, and there happens to be a mall outside the mall. That way, there's so much shit inside the mall, it's spilled out here. Wow. Well, you thought this place wasn't big enough. Holy.
Well, I don't have any picks in the draft that year. Canadiens didn't pick up anything at the draft.
It's chilly out. I'm not complaining. It's still nice. It's still shorts weather. A lot colder than it was last night. I'm not complaining. The people at home, I'm sure, are a hell of a lot colder than we are right now. You will not hear a complaint from me. This, what's it? Oh, pizza place, eh? California Pizza Kitchen. Okay. I am drawn to the music. Gotta find out where this music is coming from.
Okay, send to free agency. Anyone who doesn't sign, they can leave for all I care. And Danton rejects. Accepts. Accept. Rejects, reject. Okay.
off. Party time from here on in. That's gonna be fun. Really, really. Yeah, great trip so far. This is phenomenal. I've got no complaints. I've had the odd break here and there. Yellow water being one of them. But your own punches you deal with. We gotta deal with.
Okay.
It's full, like I say. It's all good.
So we're gonna try to lock up everyone long term. Then we'll try to fill in the gaps that we do have. Down to us for Garnet decline. Rollins accepted. Volsky accepted. Hamill accepted. Oceanman, Bannon, Roland, accepted. Oh, Alexandrov rejected. Okay, let's see what we got going on now. So we're going to trade Alexandrov. Oh. Yes. We should be able to get a couple prospects. Hopefully. Okay, so that seems and we got 11 million in cap space to play with. Try to fill in any gaps. Let's see if we have any. Looking forward. Stock contracts. we need a right winger. Oh, I want to see what we have for contracts next year. Okay, so we need a guy for around 5 on a multi-year deal. If not, we're going to go all out and sign a guy for this year, and hopefully it helps us with the cup. It's just under our price range right now.
Our ship now. Where's your son in the distance? How's he getting? Without looking? This is one bumpy ride. Our driver's been curved. It's alright. No. Like I said, it's great. Starting to look active an hour here, you know? It's crazy. That is it? Holy crap. Yeah, Regal Princess, there it is. Oh my god. Would you look? How big is that conquest? Swoop it up. Terminal electrics. Well, we made it. Alright, we got boarding pass in tow. We're in the line, we're moving along. We should be on this boat before too long. They're already boarding people. So this should be pretty quick and painless, I'm thinking. The porter already took our bag. Or one of our luggages took a bag.
Yeah! We come at the last minute and steal Jermaine for
We're moving. Yeah,
one last season.
we're just moving along.
We gave him all the monies in the world.
Yeah, we're gonna be on
I do believe this might be the last year, so
loving it. shower there, and I thought there's really no point because the stink's just going to come back on me before we even leave. So I figured I'd wait till I get here, as soon as we get in our room, I'll jump in the shower for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and be refreshed and good to go. So, you happy? You excited? You rocking? Alright. This is cool. Yeah, I'm getting a calzone, because I'm on a calzone kick now. Thank you, Sardino. What do you get? Pasta. What kind of pasta? Yeah, he's got terrible memory. CFCRX. You do. But, no, this is cool. This is the start to our trip. We are here. Well, start to the Curtis part of the trip anyway. The real start to our trip. The real start to the trip, yeah. Everything else was just a precursor. Yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna wait for lunch here, and I'll get that food. Get you enough you, so I can eat some meat. I got this calzone. It's filled with mushrooms, ham, mozzarella cheese, oregano, and a few other good stuff, I think. And Chris has some sort of pasta dish. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Cool. So yeah, good lunch. I gotta say, this is so good. Really good. How you enjoying yours? You like it? Kind of give me a little taste of his. That's real nice too. Now, this is tasty. Not Sardino's tasty, but tasty. I'm sorry, I'll obsess over that calzone. That was good. That's it? Oh man. Get one next Sunday, I'm telling you. That's happening. That's real good eats. The portion. Chris is going to town on it, he's hungry. The room, here we go. Get a tour of the room here. Look at this. Oop, little tight. Big bag. Now what do you think, folks? Okay, now turn that on, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Key card in this here. Yeah. Okay, let's see this. Oh, we're talking small. Look, my hat's on it.
Well, let's see how we do this year. I believe the final year might be year 24, might be year 25. Let's see how we do.
Twin beds here. There's a closet here.
As we upload, as
Washroom. Very small. Of course, this guy takes about 95% of it. So it's even smaller. There's a shower, not that size shower for stand up. A big trick. I just used the key. I took a leak and I was kind of taken aback by the toilet here. Push the button there, Chris. Now that's a man's That's a Ferguson, man.
4-3 in the preseason. We are getting ready to go into the regular season. I have a feeling because this is the last year, we're definitely going to be missing the playoffs. Just because we're second to last year. So 6-5-1 to start the year. We are in third in our division, surprising. Leading team with 13 points in 12 games. Let's go to December 1st, then January 1st, and take a look at the player stats.
What's going on up here? Oh, that's where that is. We go in there when we go for dinner. That's Horizon Court.
Four-game winning streak with 2 shutouts in it, not bad. Improved to 14, 6, and 2 so far.
Oh, nice.
Win-loss. Loss. Win. I don't look like a loss yet in the year. So 16, 9, and 2. Second in the division. Lee still leading the team with 25 points.
Even more cool when we're actually over the water. Again, this is this petrify you? No?
Jermaine with 20 points.
Look at this place. Oh my god. Oh. This is gorgeous. Look at this.
Lee, Manning, Jermaine, Murphy, Fukafuji, Pavelski, Drosowitz, Lowski, Rollins, Bruin, and Stevenson have all played this year.
The TV does not look this big in the videos that we're watching. Wow.
And Sawyer leading the team in points.
Holy crap, look at this.
Our starter going 14, 6, and 1 with 928 save percentage, 222 goals against average, and a 900 save percentage at 9, a 2-4 and 1 record with a 281 save percentage. Not bad, not bad. Let's simulate up to the next round.
This is gorgeous. Wow. Now, sit somewhere you're comfortable? What? Well. Go.
6. Game winning streak coming to an end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game winning streak to close out the month.
This.
56 points. We are the President's Trophy candidates right now. Connor Lee, Corey Lee, Kip Manning, Noah Murphy, Murphy, Jermaine was 17-17. Valsky, Fuji. $23, 6-1. 4, 5-1. Jean Le Cavalier. We're gonna see if we can move him out. Okay, let's do this. This ain't last year. Never mind. I'll keep him. That's fine. Come on. $35, 12-3 on the year. 32 games remaining. We're doing math right. I currently hold on to the President's Trophy. Ian Manning, Murphy, Jermaine. And Takahawa. Those are top two lines scoring consistently with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them getting goals in the double digits. Pavelski's just flirting with it. Same with Sakura. $36-1. Dermot is standing on his head. Okay. That's good. I'm not going to interrupt this team. Let's just go right to the end of the season unless I get a trade. Well, for which I haven't, so. Ouch.
Well, finally a relaxation going here. We did a tour of the ship. This place is phenomenal. Videos and pictures I've seen in the past are not doing justice. And we're just chilling out now. Got a
Get shut out, shut out, get shut out.
today. Not sure what I'm pitching teams. We're gonna have to sail with part this afternoon, so let's get a buzz on with us. It is all good. That was a pretty blast. This is so cool. It's about 10 after 1 now. We've got the muster grill yet, right? The sailing party's at 3:45. We're having dinner at the steakhouse at 8. 10 o'clock we're seeing the stand-up comedy show. I forget his name, Steve Prince or something like that. After that, we're doing the karaoke power hour. And after that, we're going to check out Club 6, which is at a club. So it's all good. This is so cool. It's so bad. Amazing. Very, very, very happy. Chris is molesting his ice cream cone. Yeah. That's good stuff, eh? I'll have to get one eventually. I like ice cream.
Lines. Best lines. Laval, who cares? They're not making the playoffs this year, it looks like.
Relaxed. Oh my god, this is hilarious. We're
53 wins.
safety video. I guess it's like mandatory when you turn on your TV.
54.
And it's all old Lumpo characters here. It's very, very cheesy. Quite comical.
54, 22, and 6 to close out the regular season. And we take on the President's Trophy again, so we're not going anywhere in the playoffs. Lee leading the team with 89 points, Kipman with 85 and 75 and 73 right behind them. John Lull taking home the Art Ross, and they ran away with the Maurice Richard. Max Albright with 47 wins. McDermott with 46, so 185 goals against average.
They're open 24 hours a day. We got maple cheesecake. Hello.
Well, let's see if we can get out of the first round. As we will be playing the Florida Panthers or the Boston Bruins. Probably Florida. Oh, Laval did make the playoffs. And they double us up 6-2, 6-3. Wolski scores, Pavelski scores, Perez, Yoshida, and Manning. Perez, Roshaw, Fokaju, and England with the empty netter. And we're down 1-0. Three stars. Oh, I got one, Neil Pavelski. Yay! I'm so excited. What happens to this team come playoff time? Oh, we get a shutout 4-0, so we're leading the series. And all the goals coming in the third period. Lee, Jermaine, Murphy. Our top line getting 3 goals, maybe all. Yeah, 3 of the goals at least. McDermott, Murphy, and Jermaine with 3 stars. We take the 3-2-1 series lead with a 3-2 overtime victory. Hansen and Visnovsky score in the first. Fukafuji in the second with a goal. Kolzig ties up late. No scoring in the third. And Sikula and Kessel in overtime. We take the 2-1 series lead. And McDermott making 44 saves in the game for the first star. Submit to this day.
I can now change my draws.
And we take another 3-2 overtime victory in Florida. Nielsen opens the scoring. Lee ties it up in the second. Sikola gives us a 2-1 lead. They tie it up in the third, late in the third, and in overtime, Lee gets his second of the game and the game winner. Lee with first star, Manning with the second, Len Nielsen with the third for Florida. And let's see if we can take this series in 5 games. And Laval went to game 5 again in the first round. And Florida takes a 3-1 victory. Bits from... Oops. No scoring in the first. Perez and Scalvello with 2 goals in the second. Bits makes it 2-1. Yoshida with the empty netter late in the game. One nothing. First, second, we get the second start at least. We just need to win one of the next 2 games, boys. And Laval is out in 5. And with our second show of the series, we eliminate the Florida Panthers in 6. Manning with the first goal of the game. No goals in the second. Murphy and Derapois scoring in the third to give us the insurance. We advance to, I believe, take on the Boston Bruins. 3 stars are McDermott, Manning, and Murphy. And we'll simulate up to this day. Oh, yeah. And we play Boston in the second round. We can't, coming off a 5-game victory, we took 6. And with a 4-2 victory, we take game 1. Murphy and Lee open the scoring in the first. In the second, Lee gets a second of the game. Nevsky gets a goal. And in the third period, Boston rallies with Durrett and Cook for a 2. Three stars are Lee, McDermott, and Noah. Assuming up to this day. Oh man. And with a 6-3 victory, we've doubled them up in each game. We take the 2-0 series victory. Sikola with the goal in the first. Durrett ties up. Bits gets us the lead. Durrett ties up with the second. Murphy scores to make it 3-2. Germain and Bits with 2 goals to make it 5-2. Durrett with the hat trick. And Sikola scores in the third. Yeah, Durrett got all 3 goals for Boston in the game. We got to shut him down. So we got better as the game went on. Stefan Durrett making the first start.
from where I was standing, I couldn't see it with all my shit I said to begin with. And, the distance we were, I couldn't see quite yet. Oh yeah, well, I could see the screen just fine, but I couldn't.
And Boston doubles us up in Boston to keep alive in the series. Dempsey with a goal in the first. Fukafuji ties it up. Aitken gets them the lead. They score 2 more in the second to get the advantage. Murphy tries to get back in, then they score 2 more. Lee with a late goal to make it 3 goals for us, 6 for them. 3 stars of the game are all 3 for Boston. One guy got 4 points in the game. Wow. And they are back in the series. Hopefully we can win game 4 to take the commanding 3-1 series lead. And with a 2-0 victory, we take the series lead with 3-1. Jermaine and Rollins with goals in the first. We hold them off for the second and third. And we are advanced. We are 3-1. Nikitin, Lucas McDermott, and Jeffrey Germain with the 3 stars. Nikitin stood on his head for them. Let's get to the next game. Corey Lee with 10 points in the playoffs in 10 games. It's getting stronger as the playoffs are going on. And we might be playing the Washington Capitals in the next round. If we can close out the series, we need to win 1 of the next 3 games, boys. And we get a 2-1 victory. We have shut them down in overtime as well. Heartbreaking loss. Ferris with a goal in the first. Manning ties up the second. Nothing scored in the third. And in overtime, Steen gives us the game winner. Nikitin, Lucas McDermott, and Kip Manning with the 3 stars. As we fired how many shots? He gave up 2 goals. 42 shots on net. We are on to the next round. Waiting for the Ducks in Calgary to finish up, and same with the Rangers are trying to make it a series.
Oh my god, dude.
And we play Washington in the conference finals. We're 8-3 in 11 games in the postseason. It's the Ducks and the Blackhawks. We start at home against Washington. If we go back to the regular season, it's the best 2 teams in the East going at it. Wild Ducks were a wild card team, and the Blackhawks were the best team in the West. Or they took their division. Yeah, so they played Los Angeles. So yeah, Ducks have gone through San Jose, Calgary, and so we got 3.09 goals for, 2.27 goals against. They have half a goal less, almost a full goal less per game. We've scored 6 power play goals on 37 attempts, or 16.2. They're only 9.7. We're 82% kill on the penalty. They are 90.3. We scored 2 shorthanders. We're 4-2 at home, 4-1 on the road. Now everyone in the Final Four is 4-1 on the road. This is gonna be an interesting series, to say the least. Chicago's weakest team at home. And we take a 3-2 victory in the first game. We're up 1-0. Fisteros and Neiman to make it 2-0 to open up the first. Sekola and Manning tie it up, and then third bits gets us the game winner. And Vista Sequoia, Lucas McDermott, and Kip Manning with the 3 stars. And we are going to game 2, hopefully taking a 2-0 series lead. And Washington ties it up with a 2-1 victory. Viveros ties it, opens the scoring. We don't get anything. Sequoia ties up. Drummond makes it 2-1, and they tie it up. Kuiper, McDermott, and Sequoia making the 3 stars. And let's go to Washington, see if we can get to the Stanley Cup final, as we need to win the next 2 games on the road. And Washington takes another 2-1 victory. Drummond opens the scoring. Boschman ties it up. Halverson gives them the game winner in the second. No scoring in the third. We fire 43 shots at net. Kuiper, Orgeson, and McDermott with the 3 stars. We need to win the next game to get back into the series and to avoid going down 3-1. And we lose Carl Dupree. I think he's our top defenseman. And for the 3rd straight game, Washington wins a 2-1 battle. Lott scores in the late in the first. Brown makes it 2-0. Fitz late in the third breaks the shutout bid. We go back to Montreal down 3-1. Need to win the next 3 games. But I think we're done again. We fall short of our goal of the 27th Stanley Cup. And we stay alive with a 4-3 victory. We need to win the next 2. Neiman opens up the scoring. Murphy ties up. Donovan gives them the 2-1 lead. We tie it up. Walt scores. We tie it up, and Tucker with the late goal for the game winner. We stay alive. We go back to Washington, where we haven't won a game yet. Manning, Tucker, and Lua with the 3 stars. Manning with a point on every single goal. The captain steps up and says, "We are not done." And we lose Neil Pavelski. And we stay alive with another 4-3 victory, this time in overtime. We have forced the game 7. Murphy opens the scoring. Lotz ties it up. Bluin makes it 2-1 in the second. Brown ties it up. Sims gives them the lead. Tucker ties up all within the first 5 minutes of the third period. And in overtime, Lee gives us the game winner. We're going back to Montreal and game 7. Let's see if we can advance to the Stanley Cup Finals. Where we will face the Chicago Blackhawks original 6 matchup if we can make it. No team in this series has won 3 straight. Well, Montreal, Washington, yeah. And we get the 1-0 shutout victory to advance to Game 7. Georges Despres getting the game winner, 11:38 into the third. We are going to the Stanley Cup Final. Lucas McDermott with the first star, Gilbert Dupree and Leonard Kuiper with the 3rd star. What a game. 3 stars. And we play Chicago Blackhawks for the Stanley Cup. Got home ice advantage, so that'll should help. And we take the 4-1 victory in the game 1 to set the tone. Kavanaugh scores. Fuka Fuji ties it up. Manning gives us a 2-1 lead late. No goals in the second. And in the third period, we tack on a goal from Lee and Stevenson on the empty net. And we take game number 1. We are 3 wins away from the 27th Stanley Cup in Montreal Canadiens history. Lee, Manning, and McDermott. McDermott taking the 3 stars. referee back for game 2. And with a 2-1 overtime victory, we take game 2. We're 2-0 in the series. Gostad opens up the scoring. Lee ties it up. No goals in the second, and early in overtime, Sekola gives us the victory. We go to Chicago with the 3-2 series lead. Lucas McDermott making 31 saves. Also in a double overtime. Yeah. Yeah, 120, 7 minutes, and yeah, it's double overtime at least. Oh no, 54 seconds left in overtime. Almost 54 seconds in, yeah. We're back to the United Center. Or we head to the United Center. Up 2-0 in the Stanley Cup final. And second overtime game, Chicago takes it 2-1 this time. They make it a 2-1 series. Hoffman wins a goal in the second. Germain with 45 seconds left ties it up. And in overtime, Van Allen gives them the victory. Nolan Loretz getting the second star, making 21 saves. McDermott. So they switch goalies. They switch goalies for overtime. Oh no. Yeah. Played 28 minutes, the other guy played 55. That's almost a full game. So I think there's another double overtime victory. Let's take game 4, boys. Pavelski's back in the lineup. And we take a 4-2. We're up 3-1. Manning opens the scoring. Peters ties it up. Fukafuji gives us the lead. Kavanaugh ties it up. And in the third period, Germain gives us the lead. Lee gives us the empty netter with 15 seconds left on the clock. And we are one win away from the 27th Stanley Cup in Montreal Canadiens history. Corey Lee with 4 points in the game, and we got a point on every single goal. And Pavelski comes in and goes right back out. And once again in overtime, Chicago stays off defeat. Germain with a goal in the second. Borkstrand ties it up in the third. In overtime, Peters gets the victory. And we are going back to Chicago for Game 6. We are one win away from the Stanley Cup. This is back. And Chicago is a 2-0 shutout victory to force Game 7. Both goals coming in the third. Kostad and Tierney on the empty net. This series goes to Game 7. Lawrence, McDermott, and Kostad with the 3 stars. Let's see if we can win the 27th Stanley Cup or if we fall heartbreakingly short. And Chicago wins the Stanley Cup. Bitts and Manning scored in the first period to give us a 2-0 lead. Chicago gets a goal in the second, and they rally in the third with 3 goals on McDermott, and Chicago has won the cup. This might be the last year. We might have one more. Gostad, Lawrence, and Cedric Gore with the 3 stars. Let's sim to the draft. Blackhawks and the San Jose Barracuda. Franchise mode is now complete. So we win 2 cups in 25 years. The next one I do, I'm debating on doing a 32nd expansion team. I will not be starting that probably till tomorrow, but if I do, we'll bring you in right from step 1 as we set up the franchise, and then we will get into the season. So in the last year, let's take a look at the award winners. Stanley Cup going to the Blackhawks. The Montreal Canadiens with the President's Trophy in the last year. We almost win the Cup in 2041. Come within 3 goals, or come within a period, basically, of winning the Stanley Cup. We didn't show up for the 3rd period. Chicago did. They wanted it more. Player awards: John Wall with the Art Ross, Lee with the Hart Memorial, his 2nd in his career, Sawyer with the James Norris, John Wall with the Lady Byng, the Calder going to Vitali, the Conn Smythe going to Lawrence, Poulin with the Vezina, Lawrence with the Jennings, the Masterson going to Shelley, Shelley. The Selke going to Maine. That became his award. The Ted Lindsay going to Lee, and John All with the Maurice Richard. So the final Canadiens roster was made up of Corey Lee, who was a Columbus draft pick, but then we immediately traded for him. So he was drafted by Columbus, but played his entire career with Montreal. Rookie, he had 44 points in his second year. goals, 39, dropped down 46, 33, 40, and 35. So he's pretty consistent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So made the playoffs in each of his 7 years. Started off strong. Then when we were out in the first rounds, he was just not there. The last year in the playoffs, 24 points. We had Kip Manning, who was a Montreal Canadiens first round pick, first overall. He played with us for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Only missed 12 games in that time span. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 playoff runs. He's another guy. If we didn't go deep, he didn't show up. Noah Murphy, he was a second round pick by the Chicago Blackhawks. We got him as a free agent. Didn't miss very many games in his career. Had a couple deep playoff runs. At least he was able to score when he was there. Jeffrey Germain was a first-round pick of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Signed with us in the final year of his career. Of the thing. He missed half a season 1 year. Still managed 20 goals. Won the thing. Only made the playoffs 4 times in his career. Winning the cup once and coming short another time. Jose Sawyer was a first round pick, 3rd overall for us. Played his entire career with us. I just realized stats don't go all that far back. Fuka Fuji was a first round pick by the Washington Capitals. We then made a trade for him. Played 2 years, both with us. 18 goals, 27 goals. And matched his goal totals in the playoffs both years. Neil Pavelski was a Montreal Canadiens first round pick. Played 3 seasons with us. Made the playoffs each year. Got hurt in this year's playoffs. Serge Boschman was a Vancouver Canucks pick. Dubois was a Montreal Canadiens pick. In one of our last drafts. Wow. Yeah, played 1 season with us. Got 10 points in the playoffs. Sequoia, undrafted player. Rollins was drafted by the Bruins. Fitz was a 3rd round pick. Vishnevsky was a 5th round pick. Loon was a 2nd round pick by the Canadiens. Kuiper was a defenseman drafted by Detroit. Steen by the Blackhawks in a 7th round pick. Tucker, 1st round pick by the Canadiens. Played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years with us. Made the playoffs each of those 5 years. Pretty mediocre defenseman. Dubois was a 1st round pick for us. Played 4 years with the Canadiens. And only had the one big playoff push. Sean Stevenson was a 6th round pick for us. Kevin Palmerville was a 1st round pick. Kelvin, he was up and down, played here or there, then went back to the A for 2. Only made the playoffs. Gilman was a 1st round pick of the Kings. He had 2 stints with us. Was sent away for a couple of years because we tried a different approach and brought back to the team. Yeah. It was after this one that we decided to part ways with him. Still made the playoffs, still went out though. Jean Le Cavalier was a Winnipeg Jets draft pick that we acquired over the course of the career. I think all his NHL play went, or at least the last 3 years, was with us. Just had a couple runs in the AHL playoffs. Well, we are going to call it there. Chicago went 7, 5, 6, and 7. We went 6, 5, 7, 7. And let's see how. Well, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed that series. Disappointing end. It would have been nice to win that one final cup, but wasn't meant to be.